So very good evening, all of you. Hope you all are doing well. Let's start with today's session. Quick recap of yesterday's session. Yesterday we discussed about different basic commands, like how to create a database. Then we saw how to create a table, then how to add records in it, and then view those records, right? And then we started with one topic called data types. We did the classification. I've just given you the different categories of data type. Now, all those one by one we will discuss. And when we have to use these data types, when we will create table. So when we are creating the table to the column, we have to give this data type. Okay. And data type indicates what? The type of value which is kept in a column. What type of value is stored in that table column? That is indicated by the data type. Data type indicates the range. What can be the minimum value? What can be maximum value? Data type indicates how much memory will be reserved for storing that value. All that is indicated by data type. So yesterday, the classification I have given you, all this in detail we will see again. First category is numeric data type. So this we will use whenever we want to store numbers in the column. Maybe it is a whole number or a floating point number. Maybe you want to store whole numbers in that column, or maybe you want to store floating point numbers. But whenever you want to store a numeric value in a column, we go for this data type. It is numeric data type. Okay. Now, who all come in that category? First is int. Int takes approximate int takes 4 byte. Int size is 4 byte. And as its size is 4 byte, the range comes out to be plus or minus 2 billion. As it is 4 byte means 8 bit into 4, 32 bit. So it is approximate 2 raised to 31 to 2 raised to 31 minus 1. Okay. So if you find out that value, it is approximate plus or minus 2 billion. But use when you want to store whole numbers, but positive whole numbers also negative. Negative, positive, both, but whole numbers. Then go for int. Then we have big int also. Okay, big int is going to take 8 bytes. Big int is somewhat same like long in another languages. Like if you go for Java or C++, there we have long data type. This is similar. And there is half of int also called small int. Small int, which will take approximate minus 2 raised to 15 to 2 raised to 15 minus 1. Okay, which is approximate 32,000 plus or minus 32,000. And big int is double of it, which is minus 2 raised to 63 to 8 bytes. Huh? So 8 into 8, 64. So half positive, half negative. So 2 raised to 63 minus 1. Okay, which comes out to be plus or minus 9 quintillion. After billion, we have trillion, getting some more units, and then we get quintillion. So plus or minus 9 quintillion. So that huge whole number, whenever you want to store, then go for big integer. Then we have floating point. If you want to store floating point numbers, then go for float. Okay? But float is for only 6-digit precision. It's called as single precision or 6-digit precision, but floating point value. It will take 4 byte. Internally, it uses Mentessa exponent. It will use some bytes, some bits. 1 bit is for sign. Then 7 bits are for exponent. 24 bits are for Mentessa. That way it stores. And next is double. double is for double precision. This is single precision, double precision. But double is also for storing floating point numbers only, like decimal number. Decimal number means what? I hope you know it. It is not whole number. It is containing some value after dot also. Dot and after dot. So double is going to take 8 bytes. Internally, it stores in the same way. IEEE format, Mantissa exponent. Okay. It will take 1 bit for sign, then 11 bits for exponent, and 52 bits for Mantissa. Mantissa के लिए 52 bits रहेगा, यहाँ 11 bit, यहाँ 1 bit. ऐसे total 64 bit. So here the precision is more. It's approximate 15 digit precision. And you want to store floating point number only, but exact precision. Means what? Exactly 2-digit precision and exactly these many digits before dot. Then we go for decimal. Decimal P comma S. Okay. So in that, remember, P means the total digit. How many digits are total, right? P. And how many digits are for the decimal? After decimal, how many digits? That is S. Okay. And the total digits are P. So when you know that your precision is exactly this many digits, then go for this. So use for exact numeric representation, P is the precision, S is the scale. So after dot, how many digit? That is S, and the total is P. So these all come under numeric category. Okay. Then we have the second category of data, that is character category. But before that, in this only, I want to tell you, like these all data type assume positive also, negative also. Like int will have half positive, half negative. But suppose you want to store only positive, you don't want to store negative, strictly positive, then you can use one additional keyword called unsigned. That is also allowed. See here, by default, all numeric data types can have negative as well as positive. दोनों store करेगा, half positive, half negative. So if you know that you're only going to store positive value, you know that in that column, I'm strictly going to store positive. Then you can add this one more keyword when you are giving the data type. तो जब किसी column को data type देते हो, so that time you can add this one more attribute called unsigned. Getting? Like if I'm creating a table, create table employee. Okay. And here we have ID. And for ID, you have given integer. And you know that employee ID is always positive. Employee ID हमेशा positive होगा, negative में. तो यहाँ आप लोग एक keyword unsigned add कर सकते हो. So it confirms that ID will be always and always positive. ठीक है? Okay. Now moving to the next category, the second category, that is text data. So whenever you want to store text information, like characters, uppercase, lowercase, special symbols, spaces, digits, getting anything, but text information you want to store, like name, address, okay, email. So they come under text information. ठीक है, city store करना है, department store करना है. So they are not numeric data, they are text data. So that time we go for character data types. ठीक है. अब character data type में याद रखना है, first we have a fixed length called as char. Okay, and you have to give the size. By default it is 1 byte. When you don't give one character, 1 byte nahi, one character, when we don't give size, it will take by default 1 character. ठीक है, तो character n. So it is going to allocate exactly n characters for every value. जैसे एग्जाम्पल देखो कि मैंने इधर लिखा है सिटी कैर एंड 20 MB. सो फॉर ईच सिटी, जितने भी रिकॉर्ड स्टोर, everyone is going to take 20. Meaning if your city is less than 20, The remaining are padded with spaces. Like agar city Pune, Pune. तो remaining 16 space से pad होगा. Padding means pack होगा या fill होगा. It will be filled with spaces. Correct? अगर next city अगर नागपुर है, Nagpur, it is going to take 6 characters. So remaining 14 will be padded with spaces. But everyone is going to take exactly 20 characters. Char, example, you have given 20 means 20. If you have given 40, 40. But that is the speciality of char. Char is a fixed length character data type. Meaning, when you give some size, each and every value is going to take that size only. If it is char 20, every value is going to take 20 only. Understanding? If your values are lesser, remaining things are filled with spaces. Just say Pune, only 4. So remaining 16 are spaces. Nagpur, 6. So remaining 14 are spaces. But suppose some city go beyond 20. If any city is going beyond 20, it is truncated. The data is lost. 20 के बाद जितने भी characters हैं, वो truncate होंगे. But everyone will take exactly whatever size you give. Correct? So usually it is said that when your value is small and it is fixed, you know it. Like suppose for example gender. तो हमें पता है gender will be from two male female. ये दो ही value है. Small size है, fixed values है. Then go for char. Correct? But when your values sizes are not fixed, they can keep varying. Then don't use char. ठीक है? Why? Because in care there is wastage also. No? Yes, spaces be pad होता है. So it is a wastage of memory because everyone is going to take 20. But though it is wasting, but it is faster in retrieval. Retrieve करते समय care ये ज्यादा faster because everyone is at fixed length. सबका length fix है. तो retrieve करते समय to go to the next record, it is more easy. It is more faster. Why? Because everyone is fixed size. Only that much size you have to add, you come to the next record. Add that much, you come to the next record. Understanding? So retrieval of care is faster, but wastage in care can be more. Getting? So generally it is advised. Smartly आपको ये data type pick करना है. When it is advised, when your values are of fixed length, okay, generally they are not going to vary. फॉर एग्जाम्पल जैसे कहा मैंने जेंडर का तो मेल एंड फीमेल या आई एम सेइंग ऑर्डर स्टेटस तो ऑर्डर स्टेटस ऑफ फिक्स लाइक इट इज डिलीवर्ड इट इज पेंडिंग इट इज इन ट्रांजिट कैंसल्ड ऐसे फिक्स वर्ड्स आर देयर तो गो फॉर दैट कैर डेटा टाइप बट व्हेन यू डोंट नो ओनली व्हाट योर वैल्यूज विल बी and you don't know their length, they may vary less or more, then you have to go for where care, which I'll be telling you next one. ठीक है तो care is one data type. Then we have where. Okay, this is a very common interview question that state the difference between care and where, and when to prefer care and when to prefer where. So always remember when your values are of fixed length and they are from some fixed set of values, a fixed set है male female बस. Then status pending, delivered, returned, in transit. These are fixed status. So from that words only you are going to take. Then generally go for care. Advantage of care is as they all are of same length, retrieval is faster. But disadvantage is remaining places are filled with बचा हुआ जगह किससे पैड किया जाता है spaces. So there can be wastage. Okay. But now in where care means variable character. In this, it will take only that much space as much is needed. Though you have given maximum, like हमने दिया where care 20. Getting? But your value is Pune, which needs only four character. It will take four only. It is not going to pad the remaining with spaces, which is done in char. Char में क्या होता है बचा हुआ जगह spaces से fill करता है ये नहीं होगा it will take only that much space as much is needed अगर next नागपुर है तो NAGPUR it takes six character it will take only six remaining 14 are not padded with spaces therefore generally इसका retrieval slower होता है but when to prefer it when your values are not fixed your values are not of from the fixed set of value. Values can be any values. We don't have from the fixed set of list. Then we go for where. The length, no guarantee how much the length will be. So here, though we have given 20, but it will take only that much space as much is needed. इसलिए wastage नहीं होता है. It doesn't pad it with the spaces. And here also, if you go beyond 20, it is going to truncate. 20 के बाहर गए तो truncate. But 20 के अंदर रहेगा तो it is not going to pad it with the spaces like care. Care में क्या होता है सब कुछ 20 ही लेगा पुणे 4 तो remaining 14 spaces नागपुर 6 sorry remaining 16 yeah remaining 14 spaces in which case care but where care it will take only as much as needed Pune needs 4 character only Nagpur needs 6 character 6 only getting so whenever your data is not from the fixed set of values, they can vary, then go for where. Okay? And then we have text. When our data is of any unlimited size, then go for text. Like you want to store a complete paragraph only, an entire paragraph. Like some websites about us is there. काफी websites में देखा रहेगा about us. Get it? So that about us is containing lot of paragraph, one paragraph, second, third. Now all this thing I want to store somewhere in the database. Best is text. Like there's the blogging websites are there. Okay, so people create blogs and they upload their blogs, right? So in that blog, lot of text that person has written, lot of paragraphs and all. So go for text. So usually when the data is of very large size, then use text. Okay? So all three are there. Char, fixed length character string. Fixed length, why? I hope you're understanding, guys. Otherwise, when again I ask you, you're back to again 0. Fixed length, meaning whatever size you give here, every value is going to take that much size only. Like for city, I gave char 20. So Pune also will take 20, Nagpur will also take 20, Mumbai will also take 20. Remaining places are filled with spaces.
Blanks.
Getting blanks. Yes, spaces बोलो. So Pune remaining 14. Mumbai if I'm taking Mumbai 6 remaining 14 spaces. So everyone 20 characters only. If you have given 20, if it is 40, so everyone 40. So as everyone is having fixed size, retrieval faster, but wastage होता है. Get it? So therefore it is recommended when your values are not going to vary, they are from some fixed set of values. एक फिक्स सेट ऑफ वैल्यू जैसे मैंने कहा जेंडर मेल फीमेल में स्टेटस ठीक है तो स्टेटस ये तीन चार स्टेटस ये तो फ्रॉम दैट ओनली आई एम गोइंग टू गिव द स्टेटस getting so that time it is recommended to go for char so fixed length character string max length 255 here means 0 to 255 meaning 256 you can go maximum that is max then comes where means variable length character string variable length character string. Okay. Here, when I give 20, everyone is not going to take 20. As much is your value, only that much. Now, if Pune, so Pune needs only 4 character, it will take 4. Mumbai takes 6. Nagpur needs 6. Getting or no? Bhopal जाते हो, Indore है, Ahmedabad. Now Ahmedabad will take more. So as many characters, only that much space. Remaining are not padded with spaces. Remaining places किससे pad नहीं होता है? Spaces से. And इसका max limit 64K है. This is 64K. Correct? And text है, variable length. This is also having some limit. करेक्ट, इसको भी कुछ 4 MB के आसपास लिमिट दिया हुआ है. तो वेरिएबल लेंथ कैरेक्टर स्ट्रिंग with no specified limit. We say no because very large data रहेगा तो go for text. But we have like MySQL ने भी कुछ limit रखा है. But it is so big capacity that generally we don't go till that much size. ठीक है? So I hope character data type is also clear. Char and var. Quick confirmation दे सकते हो. Integer data type, character data type. Okay, difference between char and varchar. Please remember. And text. Okay, can you give me quick confirmation, guys?
Yes, sir. Clear.
Yes, sir.
Then moving to the next data type, that is date and time. Okay, and date and time is commonly needed in every table. Generally, one date and time column will be there only, like employee if you consider the joining date, their birth date. If you take bill or order, the order date will be sure there when the order is placed, right or no? When you're seeing the order history, you're tracking that order. So when you're tracking the order, there also the dates are there, no? When the order was placed, when it is dispatched, then reached at which warehouse, कौन से warehouse पे पहुंचता है, वो date and time रहता है. Then delivered का date. So date is very common. It's needed everywhere. ठीक है? So if you want to store only date, there is one data type. Only time, there is one date. Combined date and time, for that also there is a data type. Okay, so one is date, used for storing date value in this format. MySQL follows this format. Suppose you want to give in your format, then you have to convert it to this format and then store. अगर आपका वैल्यू कुछ और फॉर्मेट में, तो फर्स्ट दैट वैल्यू यू हैव टू ब्रिंग इन दिस फॉर्मेट and then store because MySQL internally needs date in this format only. Getting? Then time for storing R and then it's second. Then we have date time or timestamp. दोनों एक ही behavior है for storing date and time values. Okay, for storing date and time, both combined. Date भी रहेगा और time भी रहेगा. Okay, and date and time is always needed. This is called a time series. Like you're storing sales information. So sales, which day, how much sale is done. So date and the sale done on that day. Date, sale done on that day. तो सेल डेट लगेगा ही लगेगा. एम्प्लॉय में ज्वाइनिंग डेट लगेगा. राइट और नो? बिल्स है तो बिल डेट है. ऑर्डर्स है तो ऑर्डर डेट. तो so many places we need that dates. Okay. Then comes Boolean data type. Right? Now, Boolean data type, we have only one, that is Boolean. And Boolean values are only two. One is true and one is false. I hope you know it. एक true होता है और एक false होता है. तो बस दोनों वैल्यू दो वैल्यू स्टोर करना है, तब ये यूज करो. तो Boolean used to store a true or a false value. Get it? Like sometimes in your table, you may have a column like that. Okay. Like where you just have to store true or false. Right? So if there is a bill column, build column, that whether the bill is pending or whether the bill is cleared. बिल क्लियर हुआ है या बिल पेंडिंग है, तो हमें आउटस्टैंडिंग लोग फाइंड करना है. इफ यू आर वर्किंग इन इन्वेंटरी सिस्टम एंड ऑल, तो यू जनरेट बिल्स ऑन द क्रेडिट पे बिल्स देते हैं, एंड देन लेटर यू हैव टू डू द कलेक्शन फ्रॉम दोस पीपल. व्हेन वी आर इन अ रिटेल और इन अ होलसेलर, व्हेन यू आर होलसेलर और रिटेलर्स होता है, तो डायरेक्ट पेमेंट नहीं होता. यू प्लेस द ऑर्डर, मटेरियल आता है, एंड बाद में पेमेंट कर दो. So you may keep one column called build, and in that build column, you're just storing yes or no, meaning you're storing true or false. So if there is true means वो bill का payment आ चुका है. False है means yet payment is not received. So those who are having false, they are all outstanding customers. तो उनका जितना भी amount है वो that total if you find, so that much is the amount which is supposed to come to the that retailer or to that wholesaler. Correct? तो ऐसे बहुत सारे जगह पे हमें ये यस नो स्टोर करना पड़ता है ट्रू और फॉल्स. तो दैट टाइम वी नीड बुलियन. ठीक है. And then comes binary data type, which is actually a specialized category. Those who are working in data analysis and data engineering, they will seldom need this binary data. Rarely लगेगा ये. But कुछ specialized category like if you're working in ML and all. So when you have thousands of images and that images you want to dump in the database, that time usually we need it. So binary data type is especially when you want to store a complete image file only in the table or you want to store a PDF file only in the database. वो PDF की फाइल ही टेबल में डंप करनी है. So that time. But for that, you need to use some specialized MySQL functions called load underscore data and all. So if possible, I'll give you a demonstration. But as I said, this come under generally in a special category. Okay. So in this, we have first binary n. Again, here also it is fixed length. Means if you have given binary 20 and your binary data is only 5 binary data. So remaining 15 are filled with 0, 0, 0, 0. Understanding? Like if you are giving binary 20. So 20 bytes it will consider. 20 bytes. One byte will be made up of 8 bits. 8 bits, 0101 pattern, 8 bit. Like this, one more byte. This way 20. So suppose your data is only of 4 bytes. Okay. So remaining 16 will be filled with 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0 like that. Correct? So used for fixed length binary data. Same which we did it now for where care and care. तो बताया था ना care में अगर 20 है and your value is Pune, तो Pune is only 4, तो remaining 16 are filled with blanks, spaces. तो यहाँ remaining filled with 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0 से पैक कर देते हैं. Okay, and we have variable binary also, in which it will take only that many bytes as much are needed. Here maybe I have given 2000, but your data is only of 150 bytes. So remaining are not filled with 0, 0, 0. It will take 150 only. As much is needed, it will take only that much. Okay? So use for storing variable length binary data. And then very large, like generally जो GBs वगैरह है, you have a movie and पूरी movie ही database में dump करनी है. जो modern programming generally नहीं recommend करता है. They say if you have a movie, just copy it on the server and keep the path. उसका just path database में रखो instead of dumping that whole movie only in the database. Because for dumping that whole movie, the time needed will be more. And later when you want to retrieve that movie from the table, that time also time needed will be more. Therefore, generally इतना recommend नहीं करता है. Binary large object used for storing large amount of binary data, which is more than binary or variable binary. ऐसा है ना, like if you have a movie only और एक पूरी मूवी की मूवी ही डेटाबेस में डंप करनी, then go for blobs. ठीक है. तो these were all data types. ये अलग अलग क्या थे, different data types थे. ठीक है. And in this commonly we will be using numeric category, character category and the date and time category. ये commonly लगेगा हमें. ये commonly maximum exercises आपके ये पहले 3 कैटेगरी में हो जाएंगे. ठीक है. तो all the data types clear, that you can give me quick confirmation so that we can move or we can dive into the next topic.
It's clear.
Okay, so please remember numeric category who are main like int, small int, big int, decimal, float, double. These are main numeric category. Character category, char, varchar, text. Please remember the difference between char and varchar. How the remaining places are filled with blanks. Whereas varchar doesn't take fill with blank. It will take only that much space as much is needed. Okay? Date and time. Understand that. Boolean and binary. Now we have to move to another important concept, that is constraints. What are constraints? And then how you can add that constraints to the column while creating table. When you're creating table, that time you have to give these constraints. Okay. One minute. First, what is constraint? Remember, constraints are conditions, or they are the rules which you're applying on the columns in the table. Okay, so your table is made up of columns. So you're applying that rules on that column so that values in that column are satisfying that rule. Constraints are rules. Okay, they are the conditions. There are some conditions or there are some rules which you are applying on the column, and the values in that column are satisfying that rule. Getting? So rules can be many, like primary key is a constraint. So suppose on this column you have applied primary key constraint. So all the values in that column should be unique. Getting? Means in that column, never repeated value can be there. If you try to add one and one is already there, this one won't get saved only. ये add ही नहीं होगा. MySQL डायरेक्ट एरर जनरेट करेगा. Getting? ऐसे और भी हो सकते हैं, like check constraint है. Okay, you have applied a check constraint on age column. This is age column, and you have given the check constraint as age greater than equal to 18. Okay, so whenever you're adding age values, now suppose this is the age column and you're adding the values in the age column, it will always confirm that age is greater than equal to 18. If you try to give value which is less than 18, it won't get saved only. It will directly generate an error. Getting? So likewise, there are many constraints, all one by one we will learn. But before that, what is the constraint that you should remember? So constraint is a rule, or constraint is a condition which is enforced on any column in your table. Right? So it is a rule or it is a condition which you have enforced on some column in the table. So whatever values are there in that column, they are satisfying that rule. Okay, and whenever you try to add any value, and if that value is not satisfying that constraint, the value won't get added only. It won't get saved. वो value bounce हो जाएगा, वो reject किया जाएगा. Why? Because it is not satisfying the constraint. ठीक है? So there are many constraints. All one by one we will learn. ठीक है? Then I'll tell you syntactically how to apply these constraints. ये constraint कैसे apply करते हैं वो भी बताऊंगा. See, a constraint defines rules or conditions. Like just now I told, na, age greater than equal to 18. It's a condition. Okay. Rules बताया. Like, for example, in that column, no duplicate value allowed or not null constraint. So in that column, never you are allowed to leave anything blank. वो कॉलम में कभी भी ब्लैंक नहीं छोड़ सकते. ठीक है? तो ऐसे काफी कंस्ट्रेंट्स हैं. तो constraint define rules or conditions. And who is going to satisfy that? The values in that column. Okay. So there are rules or conditions that must be satisfied by the data in your table. Okay. Now, in that, first I explain all the constraints, then we will go through it. Then we will see syntactically also how to apply these constraints. Okay, ये constraints कैसे apply करने हैं ये भी बताऊंगा syntactically. Okay, first constraint is unique constraint. Unique. Now, in case of unique constraint, never you're allowed to give duplicate value in that column. Okay, when you're creating a table, and in that we have email column, email varchar 100, and after that I have given unique कंस्टेंट दिया है. ठीक है, तो अगर ये कॉलम को यूनिक कंस्टेंट दिया है, then in this column you are not allowed to give duplicate value, but null values allowed. Blank values चल जाए, माने null values allowed, but whatever values you give they cannot be duplicate. Like for some employee, email is not mandatory. और यूजर्स है, कोई सोशल मीडिया वेबसाइट पे एक यूजर क्रिएट हो रहा है, तो दैट यूजर में गेट क्रिएटेड बाय फोन नंबर आल्सो, तो ईमेल इज नॉट कंपलसरी. सो व्हेन यू वांट दैट कॉलम कैन बी लेफ्ट ब्लैंक, वो कॉलम ब्लैंक छोड़ दिया चलेगा, बट वॉट एवर वैल्यू यू गिव हैज टू बी डिस्टिंक्ट. अंडरस्टैंडिंग? लाइक किसी के लिए हमने abc@email.com दिया, and one more I gave abc@email.com. It will not allow. Meaning all the values in that column should be distinct. Distinct means unique, no repeated. But blank allowed. Blank चल जाएगा. ठीक है, जैसे फोन नंबर, तो ईमेल है तो फोन नंबर ऑप्शनल है. ओके, फोन नंबर के लिए मैं एग्जैक्ट 10 देता हूं, कैर 10, एंड हियर आल्सो आई एम राइटिंग यूनिक. तो ईमेल दिया रहेगा तो फोन नंबर ऑप्शनल है, फोन नंबर दिया है तो ईमेल ऑप्शनल है. ठीक है, तो फोन नंबर ब्लैंक छोड़ा है चलेगा, फोन नंबर यू हैव लेफ्ट ब्लैंक इज ओके, बट if there are two phone numbers with the same value, it will not allow. ठीक है, तो यूनिक कंस्ट्रेंट क्लियर है. यूनिक कंस्ट्रेंट मींस values in that column cannot be duplicate. Values in that column should be distinct, but null value allowed. null value चलेगा, but जो भी values है वो distinct ही होना चाहिए. ठीक है, yes or no guys? यूनिक कंस्ट्रेंट का जस्ट कंफर्मेशन दो. यूनिक, तो whenever you have doubt you can ask me. तो यूनिक में रिपीटेड अलाउड है? if I give any repeated value,
No, it's not allowed.
no, but blank allowed. Blank means null, अगर मैंने null छोड़ दिया,
Blank allowed.
if you leave it null it is okay, but if repeated values not allowed. ठीक है, so that is clear. So unique constraint is clear. Then we have not null constraint also, not null. So like for example, some column you want compulsory, you have to give the value. You want that in that column compulsory values to be given. You're not allowed to leave it blank. Repeated is allowed, but you cannot leave it blank. You have to give value. Like for example, here I'm creating one column name, varchar 100 suppose. Okay, so whenever I'll add record name, you have to give. Possible there are two records with the same name, no problem. Name can repeat, but you cannot leave it blank. Then here you have to write not null. So if I've given not null, then in this column, strictly you have to give the value. Irrespective it is repeated, not repeated, doesn't matter, but you have to give. You cannot skip this column. Means this column cannot have which value? Null value. Okay. So not null constraint also, I hope it is clear. Unique constraint, not null constraint. Okay. Then we have check constraint also. Check means some condition and the value in that column is satisfying that condition. Check, and you are writing some condition over here. ठीक है? So each and every value in that column is going to satisfy that condition. Like for example, here there is age column, integer, and then I'm writing check age greater than equal to 18. So whenever I'm going to insert record in the table, ये टेबल में मैं जब भी एक रिकॉर्ड इंसर्ट करूंगा, that time age should be strictly 18 and above. If you try to give lesser, that value won't get added only. Directly MySQL will generate error. I'll give you examples. Huh? First time just you'll say that everything theoretically is explaining. No, these are first concepts, and then we will be using it in our table creation. When we'll create tables, that time we'll use these constraints. Okay, so this check constraint, what it is confirming, that age is always greater than equal to 18. So by any means, if you try to give value less than 18 for age, that value won't get saved only. आपका database management system, that is MySQL, वो value add ही करके नहीं लेगा. Rather, it will generate an error that check constraint violated. Violated means follow nahi kiya. When you don't follow the rule, you're violating. Yes or no? When mom dad says that you have to be at home before 9 o'clock, after 9 o'clock, you should not be outside your house. Correct? तो अगर आप 9 के अंदर घर में है तो ओके, 9 के अंदर नहीं आए तो you have violated the rule which your mom has set. Correct? हम मराठी में बोलते हैं 7च्या आत घर. Correct? तो 7 बजे के अंदर घर में होना चाहिए. तो वो रूल है, एंड वो रूल अगर नहीं फॉलो किया तो वो वायलेट किया आपने. Here also same thing. This is the rule. If you don't follow, you're violating. MySQL generates error. ये एक एग्जांपल हुआ चेक का, इससे और भी हो सकता है. लाइक ऑर्डर स्टेटस है सपोज, ठीक है, या ये एम्प्लॉय का कैटेगरी है, द कैटेगरी ऑफ दैट एम्प्लॉय. गेटिंग? तो कैटेगरी कैर 10 दिया, एंड देन आई एम राइटिंग check constraint ऐसे लिख रहा हूं, check category in, and I can give the list of categories like high paid employee, medium paid, okay, and low paid, like that. मैं high, medium, low ऐसे मैंने categories रखे हैं. So whenever you are giving category for the employee, it should be from any of this. Every time it will confirm that category is in this. So if you give values something other than high, medium or low, high, medium, low, इसके अलावा कुछ भी वैल्यू दिया, वो वैल्यू सेव ही नहीं होगा. इट विल नॉट ऐड ओनली, इट विल से द कंस्ट्रेंट इज वायलेटेड. गेटिंग? तो यूनिक कंस्ट्रेंट, नॉट नल कंस्ट्रेंट, चेक कंस्ट्रेंट, आई होप इट इज क्लियर. देन वी हैव default constraint. So default means you are giving some default value. Okay, so whenever you are inserting the record, and that time if you don't give the value to that column, it will take the default value. Getting? Like, for example, I'm writing salary integer and default 45000. ठीक है? So now whenever you're inserting that employee record and you're not giving salary value, insert करते समय अगर हमने क्या नहीं दिया, salary value, it will automatically take the default value. Getting or no? So when you are going to insert that employee record, okay, insert into employee, you will be giving name, email, phone, age, category. Okay, values. Now I'm giving values. But now can you see when I'll give values, I'm not going to give value for which column. And that's what yesterday also, कल के lecture में भी यही discussion था. When to mention the column names. यहाँ column names कब लिखना रहता है. when you're not going to give value for all the column, and second, whatever values you're giving, they are not in the same order. Whatever values you will be giving, if they are not in the same order, and second, if you are not giving value for all, for some columns you are not going to give, it will take the default. तो देखो यहाँ मैंने salary नहीं दिया है, तो what it will take the default as 45,000. Getting? ऐसे ही काफी इसको default दे सकते हो. The default value you can give. Okay. Now you may
Hi,
ask
sir.
like if I give check and default can both be given. Yes guys. यहाँ default ऐसा भी दे सकते हैं. Default both constant at a time also you can give. Your default low means whenever an employee is added, and to that employee if you don't give category, it will take default low, and if you give, then it will check whether it is from this three. अगर आपने category दिया है, so it will check whether it is from this three, and if you don't give, it will take default this value. तो ऐसे दो दो constant भी दे सकते हैं. नहीं तो some may think like for one column can we give only one constant? Not like that. At a time you can give check constant also, default constant also. ठीक है? Okay. So I hope you are getting it. Huh? Someone want to ask something?
Hi, sir.
Huh?
Suppose, is it possible to give the to one or more constraints like the email ID is you give as a varchar
The same thing which I
until
told. Just now I told the same thing. See
yes,
here,
yes,
I've given category, check constant plus default constant. I
yeah,
think the same
understand.
thing I did. Huh. So suppose like unique plus not null you want. You can give your unique not null, which will be as good as primary key, like that. Means it will not allow blank also, and it will say it should be distinct also.
Yes, yes. Thank you,
So
thank
you
you.
can. Yeah. Okay, now still two more constraints are remaining. Next is primary key constraint. Primary key. Like here I'm giving employee ID integer and then I'm writing primary key. Now what is primary key constraint? It says the value in that column should be distinct. Values in that column should be distinct, as well as it cannot be null as well. That is the difference between unique and primary. Unique also want all the value distinct. Primary key also want all the value distinct, isn't it? But here null is also not allowed. But whereas in unique, it is allowed to give null. In unique, the values can be null. But whatever values you give, they should be distinct. जैसे ईमेल आप ब्लैंक छोड़ सकते हो, अलाउड है, बट जो भी ईमेल दिया है वो डिस्टिंक्ट ही होना चाहिए. You cannot have two records with the same email, but you have left the email blank. ईमेल ब्लैंक छोड़ा है चलेगा, बट जो भी ईमेल दिया है वो क्या होना चाहिए? डिस्टिंक्ट. In primary key, blank is also not allowed. Like example, employee ID देना ही पड़ेगा. To every employee, ID has to be there. You cannot leave employee ID null. And as well as no two employees can have a same employee ID. So employee ID has to be distinct also. Distinct means समझ में आया ना? Unique, as well as it cannot be left blank. So always remember unique plus null is same as primary. Unique plus null is same as what? Primary key. And whenever you create primary key, internally it creates an index also for it. And that index is needed for fast retrieval. So when we'll come to topic indexing, you'll come to know. But whenever you create a primary key, automatically one index is also created for it, for retrieving that record faster. ठीक है? So primary key means key whose values a column means only key actually. Many people may ask like what is the key? So key is one or more column from the table which you will use for retrieving the values for retrieval purpose. Whenever you want to retrieve records from the table, So for retrieval purpose, you'll use what? Those column values. Correct? So key is one or more column in a table which we will be using for retrieval. Retrieval के लिए जब use करोगे तो उसको key कहा जाता है. So primary key means a column whose value cannot be left null as well as the value has to be distinct. Okay, that is the rule. And then we have one more called foreign key. Okay. Now foreign key is for association between two tables. It is for setting the relation between two tables. दो टेबल के बीच में जब रिलेशन सेट करना है तो वी नीड फॉरेन की एंड दैट रिलेशन इज सेट ऑन सम कॉमन कॉलम ओके तो फॉरेन की means a key in one table which is referring its value from the primary key of another table. Understand like this. Okay, like example, this is your employee table, and in employee tables column are there like employee ID, employee name, employee salary, and there is one more column called department ID. Okay, and in this department ID, whatever numbers we are giving as a department number to every employee, employee 1, employee 2, employee 3, we are assigning departments to them. Like employee 1 belongs to department 10, employee 2 belongs to 20, employee 3 also belongs to 10. Yesterday we took one example of users and posts. कुछ याद है guys? कल ही हमने एक example लिया था. One table called user table and one table called post table. So how we will know that this post is done by which user? तो हमने post के साथ user ID भी रखा था, याद है? तो यूजर 1 ने 3 पोस्ट किए थे, यूजर 2 ने एक ही, यूजर 3 में मे बी 4 पोस्ट किए थे, तो वो एसोसिएट किया था. यस और नो, एटलीस्ट यस नो तो बोलो.
Yes,
yesterday
sir.
we had
Yes.
हाँ yesterday एग्जांपल लिया था ना मैंने कल के ही सेशन में. पोस्ट एंड यूजर्स, पहले एक यूजर टेबल, आई क्रिएटेड वन यूजर टेबल in that around 10 users, then I created one post table, and then we related that post with the user, that this post is done by that user. सेम वे यहां भी देखो एम्प्लॉय है, डिपार्टमेंट है, तो डिपार्टमेंट टेबल इज हैविंग इट्स प्राइमरी की डिपार्टमेंट आईडी एंड द नेम ऑफ द डिपार्टमेंट मे बी. ठीक है, तो यह डिपार्टमेंट आईडी 10, डिपार्टमेंट आईडी 20, मे बी इट इज सेल्स, इट इज परचेस. Getting? So here this employee record is associated with this department. देखो ये 10 10 के साथ मैच. Getting? ये 10 भी यहाँ मैच, ये 20 is department. Okay. So what is the foreign key? Foreign key is the column in one table. In one table, it is a column which is referring its values from the primary key of some another table. Can we say this department ID is the primary key of department table? Department table key, ये primary key है क्या? Department ID. First tell me, is department ID a primary key of department table? Are you convinced कि ये department ID ये department table की primary key है? Is this number unique for each department? 10 sales, 20 purchase. So all the departments will have a unique number, na guys? Yes or no? At
Yes,
least.
sir.
हाँ. तो बाकी लोग भी interact करो. बाकी लोग भी yes, no. I didn't understood. Please tell again. Yes or no? Aditi is there or no? Aditi, Fazal है और बाकी लोग पता
Yes,
नहीं.
yes, yes.
तो first tell me, डिपार्टमेंट टेबल का ये डिपार्टमेंट आईडी प्राइमरी की है, ये पहले कन्विंस्ड हो या नहीं?
Yes.
Is this
Yes, sir.
department ID a primary key of department table? Yes. As many departments I'll store, 10 sales, 20 purchase. So every department, is this number unique?
Yes, unique.
Getting? If there is HR, so HR will not have 10 or 20, it will have another number. All these are unique. So first of all, it is clear that department ID is primary key of department table. But the same department ID is there in employee table also. In employee table also, we have a department ID. Now you say why you have kept department ID in employee also to tell that which department that employee is working. ये employee किस department में काम कर रहा है. So employee 1 10 लिखा है means that employee is working in 10 sales. For 2 20 means it is working in purchase. For 3 again 10. So 3 is also working in sales. So we want to indicate that that employee is working in which department, the department number we are keeping here. जैसे कल का एग्जांपल था पोस्ट, तो हाउ वी विल कम टू नो दैट दिस पोस्ट इज डन बाय विच यूजर. तो हम लोगों ने एक यूजर आईडी रखा था पोस्ट में. डू यू रिमेंबर दैट और नो? Was there one user ID kept in the post
Yes.
table? Post ID, user ID, and the caption of the post.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Get it?
Remember.
So now tell me why we have kept that user ID in the post table. Post table में user ID क्यों रखा है?
To refer which user has posted that post.
Very good, very good.
Yes.
Means now the
To
concept is
make the
clear.
connections between the two tables also.
हाँ. So that is the ultimate reason. वो reason ultimate है. But if someone wants to explain that why I have kept a user ID in post table to tell that post is done by that user. How we will come to know that this post is done by which user? So user ID. Same way here also. How we will know that to which department the employee is belonging? So we are maintaining the department ID here. Getting? So now this department ID, which is in employee, is a foreign key. So foreign key is a column in one table which is referring its values from the primary key of some another table. देखो यहाँ जो वैल्यू 10 है वो इस प्राइमरी की कॉलम में से ही है ना. इफ आई
Yeah.
ट्राई टू गिव 50 here, यहाँ मैं 50 देने गया तो will it confirm that 50 is there in the department ID or no? कंफर्म होना चाहिए. वो ऑटोमेटिक नहीं होगा. For that you have to set this foreign key. Unless and until you set this as a foreign key, it will not do that check, guys. Like in yesterday's table, we have not done. कल के table में post and user, there we kept the column, but we have not set that link. Therefore, if I add any post and I give some user number and that ID user is not there only, it will get added. MySQL won't give error. Correct? But if you have set it as a foreign key, अगर आपने ये कंफर्म बताया है, ये कंस्ट्रेंट बताया कि DID is a foreign key, then it will always confirm the value in this column is from the primary key of another table. Correct? So that the from where it is referring, that is called as the parent table. And in which it is referring, it is called as a child table. You can call it as child table, parent table, or you can call it as referenced table and a referencing table. Employee is a referencing table or a child table, and department is a referenced table or a parent table. Remember, existence of child is because of existence of parent. देखो ये एम्प्लॉय क्यों एग्जिस्ट कर रहा है क्योंकि वो डिपार्टमेंट है इसलिए एम्प्लॉय. Correct? But if I give 50 to any employee and there is no department only with 50 number, so this record should not get saved, guys. So that confirmation is done if you have made that column as a which column. अगर ये column को आपने क्या बनाया है foreign key,
Foreign key.
then only it will confirm that whatever value you give to that foreign key It will first confirm that that value is in the primary key of its parent table. इसलिए तो इसको भी constant ही कहना है ना. Constant why? Because it's also a rule. It is also a condition. It has to check that whatever value you give to foreign key, it will confirm that that value is present in the primary key of the parent table. तो देखो यहां जब 50 डालने गए एक एम्प्लॉई, we are adding one employee and we are giving department ID 50. So will it confirm there is a department ID 50 in department table? ये ऐड करने के पहले ये कंफर्म करेगा क्या कि 50 इस कॉलम में है क्या नहीं. तो इफ देयर इज नो डिपार्टमेंट ओनली इन 50, इट विल से फॉरेन की वायलेटेड. आपने फॉरेन की वायलेट किया है और ये रिकॉर्ड ऐड नहीं होगा. सपोज यू आर एडिंग अ न्यू एम्प्लॉय विद डिपार्टमेंट आईडी 30. So will it confirm that there is a department with number 30? तो ये सर्च करना पड़ता है. ये 30 उसको इस कॉलम में सर्च करना है. तो वो सर्चिंग फास्टर होना चाहिए, इसलिए इंडेक्स क्रिएट करने रहता है. नहीं तो वो लाइन से मैच करते जाएगा ना. इट विल चेक 10. Is it 30? No. 20, not 30. Is it 30? Yes. Found. Then it will say yes, there is a department with 30. तो ये रिकॉर्ड ऐड हो जाएगा. Will it save this record? Yes, because the value of the foreign key is there in the primary key of its parent table. Okay, so remember why we call this as a parent, because the existence of child is because of parent. Real life में भी वैसे ही होता है ना. Real life में भी child क्यों है? क्योंकि parent है इसलिए child आता है ना. Right or no? The existence of child is because of the existence of parent. ये नहीं वाइस वर्सा नेसेसरी नहीं. ऐसे पेरेंट हो सकते हैं जिनको बच्चे नहीं है. जैसे यहाँ डिपार्टमेंट 40 है, बट देर इज नो एम्प्लॉय ओनली इन दैट डिपार्टमेंट. खाली डिपार्टमेंट है. ये डिपार्टमेंट बना के रखा है बट अभी तक एक भी रिक्रूटमेंट नहीं हुआ है. चांसेस है. तो एग्जिस्टेंस ऑफ चाइल्ड इज बिकॉज ऑफ एग्जिस्टेंस ऑफ पेरेंट. इट इज कॉल्ड एज एग्जिस्टेंस डिपेंडेंसी. So who is existence dependent? Employee is existence dependent on department, not vice versa. Means department exist कर रहा है इसलिए employees है, ऐसा नहीं. Employee है क्यों? क्योंकि department है. Getting? Okay. तो many times like department delete किया तो automatically employees भी delete हो जाता है. तो वो कैसे, वो बताता हूं मैं how to do it. But foreign key and primary key. Just remember. And first of all, key means क्या, ये clear है? Key means one or more column of your table which will be used for retrieval of records. Records को retrieve करने के लिए हम लोग उन columns का use करते हैं searching purpose के लिए. ठीक है. तो constraints clear है. फिर primary and foreign key पे और detail बात करेंगे. We will talk about how to give this constraint. जैसे इसमें मैंने column level constraint, column के बाद ही लिखा है. You can give table level constraint also. So what is the difference between column level, table level? All that also we have to learn. ठीक है. But before that, we'll just talk about these constraints. So first is the unique constraint, right? Unique constraint, it will ensure that all the values in that column are unique. Unique means distinct. Distinct means not repeated. एक ही इंग्लिश वर्ड के कितने सिनोनिम्स है. यूनिक
not
मीन्स ओनली
duplicate value.
डिस्टिंक्ट. नॉट डुप्लीकेट, नॉट रिपीटेड, डिस्टिंक्ट, यूनिक, ऑल मीन्स द सेम. सबका मीनिंग एक ही बन रहा है. तो ensures values in a column are unique across the table. But it can be left blank. Blank छोड़ सकते हो, but distinct होना चाहिए. तो example like employee ID. sorry, employee ID mean email. So email you can leave blank, but if you have given email, it cannot be duplicated. Phone number you can leave blank, but whatever phone number you have given, it cannot be duplicated. Then not null constraint ensures that that column value cannot be left blank. You strictly have to give value. Like name. Name को blank रखना allowed नहीं. Name देना ही पड़ेगा. Right or no? Name you have to give. So ensures the column cannot have a null value. check constraint. This is some condition and it will check whether the value satisfies that condition. Getting? ये कुछ कंडीशन है जो आपने कुछ रिलेशनल ऑपरेटर्स वगैरह से बनाए, ग्रेटर देन, लेस देन, या मेंबरशिप ऑपरेटर लाइक इनसे बिल्ड की हुई एक कंडीशन, एंड ईच एंड एवरी वैल्यू confirms that condition. If the value doesn't satisfy that condition, that value won't get added in your database. Okay, so ensures a condition to be true for each row. Then we have default constraint. So you can give default value to some column, and when you're inserting the record, and at that time, if you don't give value to that column, it will use which value? The default value. Okay, understanding? Provides a default value for a column if no value is specified. Example, here, see, salary in default 4500. So when you're inserting, and that time if you don't give value for salary, it will use default. And if you're giving, then your value it will use. अगर आपने दिया है तो अपनी वैल्यू यूज करोगे, बट अगर आपने नहीं दिया है तो ये डिफॉल्ट यूज कर लेगा. ठीक है? Then comes primary key. Now you can have one or more column as a primary key, but you cannot have more than one primary keys. मेरा सेंटेंस समझ में है? Every table can have only one primary key. You cannot have multiple primary keys. Multiple primary keys नहीं हो सकता है. एक टेबल को एक ही प्राइमरी की हो सकता है, but one or more column can act as the primary key. मिलके. Getting? I'll tell you. Okay, so that time you have to use table level constraint. Okay, so example I'm giving you, like for example, I'm using enroll table in which the student is student ID, or we'll take this one, employee and department. Okay, एक department table है, and then we have a project table. Now in project table, we want to tell that which employee is going to work on which project ID and employee ID. कौन सा एम्प्लॉय कौन से प्रोजेक्ट पे काम करेगा. There is a project, sorry, this is project table with project ID. Sorry, a little bit wrong I've done. ठीक है? So there is one project table and there is employee table. There is one employee table and there is project table. Now I want to tell that which employee is assigned to which project. Okay, so assigned to नाम का एक table है, in which I am going to keep employee ID and the project on which that employee is assigned. ये employee कौन से project पे assigned. So it is possible that one employee at a time is working on more than one project. And it is possible that there are many employees for one project, many to many concept. Getting? So like this, like employee ID 101, project P5. Okay? Employee 102, project P5. Means this indicates what? That on the same project P5, two employees are working. But here if it is 101 and P2, means this same employee is working on two different projects. Are you understanding this concept? Then I'll tell you what the primary key you will use. Here I want to make, means you're understanding that employee ID can repeat, but project ID should be different. Or project ID repeat, but employee ID should be different. Now here the same 101 P5 cannot come again. This employee assigned to this project, this employee assigned to this. Means same employee is working on two different projects. Or on the same project, there are two employees. But the same employee and project cannot come again. Yeah, can you see this? 105 P5, 101 P5, 101 P5 cannot come again. What can repeat? Employee ID repeat, project ID should be different. Project ID repeat, employee ID should be different. But same employee ID, same project ID cannot come again. So in this case, collective primary key you have to make. Combine. Getting? So who is combined primary key? Employee ID and project ID are collective. They are generally called composite or super key. Super key ऐसा keyword नहीं होता है. MySQL doesn't give super key. Every super key is a primary key, they say. Getting? But when more than one column is combined going to act as a primary key. Getting? So we usually call it as a super key. But in this case, I cannot keep only employee ID and only project ID as primary. I have to make them combined primary key. Getting? So that time, as I said, here in the primary key, one or more column. ठीक है? तो assign to table जब बनाओगे तो ऐसा लिखना allowed नहीं है. Employee ID integer primary key and project ID integer primary key. This is wrong. Syntactically ये गलत है. Why? Because your MySQL is assuming assign to table को कितने primary keys है?
Two, but it not allowed.
But it is not allowed. You're right. Because every table can have only one primary. तो आपने individual लिख दिया employee ID primary key, PID primary key. So it assumes that you are saying this is also primary and this is also primary. So you cannot have two primary keys to one table. This is syntactically wrong. Then in that case, what you can do, you can collectively make it as primary, like this. EID integer, PID integer, other columns you give. Dot dot means you're understanding if there are other columns. And at the end, you will write like this, once only. Primary key, EID, PID. Now in this case, in your whole table, how many primary key? One only. But who are the primary key? Combined. EID, PID, combined primary key. It is composite. एक से ज्यादा columns से बना है. Therefore, it is composite. But it is a primary key. Generally, it is called as a super key. When एक से ज्यादा column का मिलके primary key बनता है, we call it as primary key. Getting? Sorry, super. तो concept समझ में आया ना? इधर example दिया देखो. Combine primary key assures what? ये दोनों को combine मिलके primary key बनाए. तो what it assures? That employee ID repeat, no problem, but project ID should be different. Or project ID repeat, employee ID should be different. देखो, employee ID same आया, तो project ID अलग चाहिए. What does this signify? The same employee is working on two projects. And here, if the project ID is same, तो ये signify करता है कि ये project पे ये दो employees काम कर रहे हैं. Understanding or no? So when you want to make more than one column as combined primary key, you have to give it at the end only. This is called table level. So table level, column level, and coming to it. But ये last में लिखना पड़ेगा. हर एक के आगे लिख नहीं सकते हो. इसके आगे लिखा primary key, इसके आगे primary. So it will treat two primary keys and it is never allowed. Every table can have only at the most one primary. Okay, so your intention was not to make it individual. You want combined primary, then you have to write at the end. Primary key, bracket, EID, PID. Now, what does this ensure? Can anyone tell me? Primary key, EID, PID. ये ensure क्या करेगा?
The employee ID is repeated, but project ID is different.
One or if project
Uh,
ID is repeated,
Repeated employee ID is different.
should
Must
be
be
different.
different.
But
Yes.
the same 101P5, can it come appear again?
No, it's possible. It's not possible. Duplicate.
Duplicate का error because primary key is set here. So 101P5, 101P5, because it is combined primary, na, so combined duplicate 101P5, 101P5 again. So primary key violated. Correct? So in such situations, we have to go for more than one column. But okay, more than one column is a primary key, but it is a combined primary. It is not more than one primary. एक से ज्यादा primary key नहीं है. And then comes foreign key. Foreign key is for what purpose? I told you to set the relation between two tables. Means in that case, it will confirm that the value of that column is taken from the primary key of some another table. Get it? So enforces a link between two tables by referencing a column in one table that is primary key in another table. Always याद रखना है, always foreign key refers its value from the primary key of some another table. हमेशा याद रखना है कि अगर एक टेबल में कोई फॉरेन की है तो श्योर है कि ये किसी दूसरे टेबल में क्या रहेगा ही रहेगा.
primary.
इट विल ऑलवेज रेफर द वैल्यू फ्रॉम प्राइमरी. तो इसके अंदर के वैल्यूज हमेशा कहां से ही लिए गए हैं? फ्रॉम द प्राइमरी की. करेक्ट? तो here whatever, suppose here we have only 1 2 3. If I give 1, okay, it is present. If I give again 1, present. If I give 3, it is present here. But if I try to give 4, so is 4 present in this column? No. Then we say foreign key violated. Because this 4 value is not present here. So this is a child table, this is a parent table. Existence of child is because of existence of parent. Why employee exists? Because department exists. But department exists because of that employee is not necessary. Some departments may not have employee, but every employee belongs to some department. Correct? हाँ, but for that you need to set that foreign key. हाँ? वो foreign key कैसे set करते हैं वो बताता हूँ. ठीक है? So now about these two keys in detail we will talk and we will see how to set that foreign key. वो foreign key कैसे set करता है वो बताना है. ठीक है? वो main है. That is what to be studied. ठीक है? So what are keys? I told you keys are one or more column in your table. Keys आपके टेबल के ही एक या एक से ज्यादा क्या है? कॉलम्स है. Right? Just give me 1 minute. I'll just be back again. Okay, sorry for interruption. Let's continue. So keys are columns from your table, one or more columns from the table. But those columns which you are going to use for retrieval, searching, records को search करने के लिए use करना. Getting? There can be some columns which are only for storing information. बस उसको हम many times किसके लिए नहीं use करते हैं? Searching के लिए. Getting? So always remember the keys are one or more column in your table, which will be used for retrieval of records. Okay? So in that two main keys are there. One is primary key, another is foreign key. Okay? So mainly we will talk on primary key. So primary key means one or more column in the table which will be used for retrieving records uniquely. अगर कोई भी record uniquely retrieve करना है, then we use primary. Like employee ID. So employee ID is unique. So whenever you're searching any record on employee ID basis, you will get a unique record. Roll number, order ID, bill number. Bill number is unique. Order ID is unique. Understanding ticket number. Like if you have taken a ticket of any movie, तो वो booking ID होता है. और फ्लाइट टिकट है तो उसका भी टिकट नंबर प्रिंट होता है. ट्रेन टिकट लेते हो तो उसके लिए भी एक नंबर जनरेट होता है तो वो यूनिक होता है. Getting? So on that number only we can extract. You can see the status also ना of your ticket. अगर टिकट कंफर्म नहीं हुआ है ट्रेन के केस इन केस ऑफ ट्रेन इफ द टिकट इज नॉट कंफर्म देन यू गिव दैट पीआरएन है ना दैट इज पैसेंजर रजिस्ट्रेशन नंबर और वी कॉल इट एज परमानेंट परमानेंट नहीं होता है वहां वो पैसेंजर रजिस्ट्रेशन नंबर ही होता है. तो ऑन दैट बेसिस इफ यू एंटर इट इट टेल्स यू द स्टेटस ऑफ योर टिकट. if previously you are on waiting list 7 अभी कम हुआ रहेगा तो it decreased value from waiting list to maybe RSC में चला गया RSC से confirm में चला गया so it will keep showing you that updates but the search you do on that number basis so unique ticket ही fetch होकर आता है. Okay, so primary key is one or more column in the table which will be used to retrieve records uniquely. Primary key doesn't allow null and all the values in the primary key should be distinct. Okay, so a primary key is a field in a table which uniquely identifies each record in a table. Okay, whenever you are searching anything on the primary key basis, never you'll get multiple record. You'll get a unique record. Okay, it ensures that each tuple means set of related value. Getting employee number, employee name. Okay, sorry, code. Then age, department, whatever. So all these related values form one tuple. Set of related values is called as a tuple, or you can call it as a record. Tuple, don't call it as tuple. It is tuple or record. So it ensures that each record can be uniquely identified within the table. Okay, it is always unique plus not null. Primary key never null allowed, and as well as the values are distinct. Okay, now we will go to foreign key, but before that, how you will give primary key? Okay, so I told you, see, the constraints can be given at column level also or at table level also. Understand? Constraints can be given at column level also, table level also. Now I'll say what is column level. So giving the constraint immediately after the column when you're creating table. Getting like you're creating table employee. Okay. Now you're giving employee ID integer. Immediately after that, if you write any constraint, it is called as a which constraint? Table level constraint. Sorry, column level constraint. Here I'm giving not null. Okay, so what you'll remember, whenever you write the constraint, immediately after the column के बाद immediately constraint लिखते हो, तो उसको क्या कहना चाहिए? It is called as a
column level.
but sometimes instead of giving the constraint here immediately after the column, you can give at the end. Means first you write your all columns, no need to give the constraints like this. EID integer, name, varchar, all the columns are listed. Then at the end you are writing like this. Primary key, who is from the above list, who is the primary key? Employee ID. Then to whom you want to keep not null, so you can write not null name like that. So this becomes a table level constraint. Meaning, in short, when all the columns are listed first, column data type, all the column listed, then you are giving all the constraints. Then it is called table level constraint. Effect is same only when you are writing the constraint. Whether you are writing the constraint immediately after the column or first you are listing all the column with the data type and then you are writing the constraint, then we call it as table level. But in some situations, writing table level constraint is mandatory. कुछ ऐसे situations है जब आपको टेबल लेवल कंस्ट्रेंट ही देना पड़ेगा. जैसे एग्जांपल अभी थोड़ी देर पहले मैंने लिया था assign to. तो आई एम क्रिएटिंग अ टेबल assign to in which there is employee ID integer, there is project ID integer, and maybe और fields रहेंगे that start date, how much is the target number of hours, ये project पे कितना घंटे देना है, फिर start date क्या है, target completion date, all that things you have kept. Okay. But now what I want is, I want EID and PID should be combined primary key. Then in that case, writing column level constraint won't work. Column level constraint chalega kya aise case mein? I hope you understand Hindi. Na? In between I talk in Hindi, but I think Hindi is a pan India language. Whole India में कहीं भी हिंदी चलता है, right? हाँ. So
Yes, yes.
हाँ, but if I consider like if I talk in Marathi only or in Telugu only or in Konkani only, though it will be little bit difficult because that becomes what we can say narrow base है. वो areas में ही चलता है. But Hindi is a whole over thing. So sometimes maximum time I try to be on English only. Now tell me, in this example, will this column level constraint work? No.
No,
Because
sir.
first of all, what has happened? Two columns are becoming primary key. So MySQL will first of all give error for that you cannot have two columns as primary key. Meaning two primary keys. Two columns as primary नहीं. Two primary keys. तो एक ही टेबल को दो primary keys नहीं हो सकता. Now, if you want to make this both combined primary key, means EID and PID should be combined primary key. Then you have to give the constraint at the table level only. So at the end you will write फर्स्ट क्या लिखोगे एम्प्लॉय आईडी पीआईडी फिर बाकी क्या रहेंगे द स्टार्ट डेट ऑफ द प्रोजेक्ट टेंटेटिव एंड डेट हाउ मेनी आवर्स यू आर गोइंग टू वर्क ऑन दैट प्रोजेक्ट ऑल दैट आर मेंटेन नाउ combine I want to make primary so at the end only I have to write primary key eid pid so in this case writing constraint at which level is mandatory ऐसे केस में आपको constraint कहाँ लिखना ही पड़ेगा
Table level.
table level. Here column level constraint won't work. ठीक है तो मुझे लगता है क्लियर है. Then coming to foreign key. Now already I told you foreign key means a column in one table which is referring its value from the primary key of another table. Okay, so what is the foreign key? Foreign key is a column in one table. But the values in that column are taken from where? From the primary key of some another table. किसी दूसरे टेबल के प्राइमरी की से लिए हुए ये वैल्यूज है. तो in that primary key if you have 1 2 and 3 so which are the possible values you can give here? It may be repeated, no problem, but you are only allowed to give 1 2 and 3 only. Can I give anything other than 1 2 3? No, because foreign key refers its value from the primary key of some another table. Correct? अभी ऐसा भी हो सकता है कि फॉरेन की भी एक से ज्यादा कॉलम हो सकता है ऐसे, बट अगेन वो प्राइमरी की भी एक से ज्यादा ही होना चाहिए ऐसे कंबाइंड. ये कंबाइंड प्राइमरी की है तो ये भी कंबाइंड फॉरेन की है. इज अलाउड है ऐसे, इट इज पॉसिबल. But I hope you're understanding what is the foreign key. So foreign key is a column in one table who is referring its value from the primary key of some another table. So the table in which the primary key is, we call it as parent table or referenced table. And the table in which we have foreign key, we call it as a child table or we call it as a referencing table. ये रेफरेंस कर रहा है ना, तो रेफरेंसिंग, एंड किसको रेफरेंस कर रहा है, तो वो रेफरेंस्ड टेबल है. एग्जिस्टेंस ऑफ चाइल्ड इज बिकॉज ऑफ द एग्जिस्टेंस ऑफ parent. Getting? Okay. So देखो, a foreign key is a field in a table that ensures to the primary key of another table. तो फॉरेन की एक टेबल में एक कॉलम है, बट वो इंश्योर करता है कि उसके अंदर के वैल्यूज कहां से ही लिए गए, किसी दूसरे टेबल के प्राइमरी की से. ओके, so it establishes relationship between two tables. So it is very much needed at the time of joins and all. बाद में एक joins का टॉपिक आएगा, where you have to join the records from more than one table. मुझे ये टेबल का एक रिकॉर्ड दूसरे टेबल के रिकॉर्ड के साथ ज्वाइन करना है, तो दैट टाइम फॉरेन की वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. ओके, नाउ द क्वेश्चन इज हाउ वी विल गिव फॉरेन की. तो इट इज ऑलवेज एडवाइज्ड इन माई SQL कहता है कि ऑलवेज फॉरेन की टेबल लेवल पे ही लिखो इंस्टेड ऑफ कॉलम लेवल. करेक्ट एग्जांपल आई गिव यू, like I am creating first table employee, sorry, department. We have department ID, integer, primary key. Okay, so DID is the primary key of department. Department name, here I am having varchar 50, not null. Means you cannot leave department name blank. Department का name blank नहीं छोड़ सकते. And if you want the department name should be distinct, तो यहाँ unique भी डाल दो. ठीक है, ये हो गया, ये आपका parent table बन गया. Now you are creating a child table. Create table EMP. ठीक है, your employee ID, integer. It is primary key of employee. ये employee का primary key है. Means every employee will have a distinct employee ID. Then we have employee name. Okay, varchar 50, not null. Maybe we are having employee salary, float. Okay, and then we want to tell that this employee is working in which department. जैसे कल का था post and user. How we will know that that post is posted by which user? Therefore, we had kept one user ID in the post table. Here also we have to maintain the department ID in employee table. DID integer. Okay, and now at the end you will write foreign key. FOREIGN, foreign key. Who is the foreign key from the above column? DID. But you have to tell that it is referencing which table? Departments, department ID. ठीक है, तो ये मैंने कौन से लेवल पे कंस्टेंट लिखा है? टेबल लेवल. एंड MySQL रिकमेंड, MySQL में वो वर्क ही वैसे होता है. MySQL सेज फॉरेन की should be given at which level only? Table level. But in some database management, like Oracle and all, if you write it after the column, then also okay. DID integer, but after column, if you are writing, no need to write this. Just you have to write references. References DPT DID. Okay. So now I have set that foreign key. So who is the foreign key? DID in employee table, and it is referring DID, the primary key of department table. Getting? So whenever I try to add any record in employee, and if that department doesn't exist, it will give you an error. देखो हाँ, यहाँ मैं कुछ record insert करता हूँ. Insert into DPT values 10 sales. Okay, and comma 20 purchase. ये दो डिपार्टमेंट है. Now I'm inserting employee record. Insert into employee values. Suppose 101 Ram 4500 2 I'm giving. One more employee 105 Sita 4550. Okay, or 80 डालना भूल गया because it is in rupees, not in dollars. Here I am putting 1. Will it do? This employee is in department 2. No, sorry, यहाँ मैंने 2 and 1 लिखा, 2010 लिखा. So I'm adding this department employee in department 20. Is 20 existing? Yes. This in department 10. 10 existing? Yes. No problem. But suppose I'm adding any record and I'm giving a department which is not there only. ये 50 and 50 तो है ही नहीं. It will be violated. It will not save this record. It will give you error. That foreign key violated. This 50 department is not there. Getting? So foreign key does that check. Foreign key always does the check that whatever value is there in the child, it will confirm it is there in the parent. Understanding, guys? So I'll show you practically. Don't worry. Concept समझ लो पहले. ठीक है? This is the best example. इतना देखेंगे, then we will wind up for today's session. Okay? Tell me. This is your child table and this is the parent table. Can you see, guys? This is the parent table. Department is the parent table. Having department ID, department name, ID, name, department ID, name. Is this a primary key of department table? Department table का ये primary key है. You cannot have more than one department with the same ID. ठीक है? Then we have employee table. It is a child table. Department is the parent table. Who is the child table? Employee. Who is the parent table? Department. Why it is called referencing and referenced? Why? Because we are referencing value in this. And from where? Department. So that is a referenced table. This is a referencing table. Can you see? Employee ID, employee name, salary, department ID. So these two belong to 10. The second and fifth belong to 20. ये 30. ठीक है? तो referenced table, parent table having primary key, and referencing table, child table having foreign key. तो always remember, जिस table में foreign key है वो child table, and जिस table में वो primary key है, जिसकी value वो refer कर रहा है, तो वो हमेशा क्या रहता है? Parent table. ठीक है? See, I'll quickly show you this as a demonstration. ये दिखाया तो it will be confirmed to you people. How it violates. वो कैसे violate करता है वो पता चलेगा. Means how it confirms that the value in the child table is present in the parent table. ठीक है? We will do it in this database only, or we can create some another database. Instagram DB. Okay, so I'll create one more quickly. Create database empdb later. Then you have to use that empdb. Okay, then I'm creating a table. Create table department. DEPT. Yeah? DEPT ID I'm taking integer primary key. Sometimes I'm writing constant column level. D name varchar 50 not null suppose. Okay, now I'm creating this table. Table bun here. I'm adding some records in it. Insert into DPT values 10. Now I'm not mentioning the column name. Why? Because I'm going to give the value for both the column and in the same order, right? So once sales, then 20 is IT suppose, and 30 is finance, purchase, whatever. It depends, हाँ. वो टाइप के डिपार्टमेंट्स हर कंपनी में होते हैं ऐसे नहीं है. It depends. If it's a software company, then maybe you may not have such a product-based company. Product-based company, समझा ना? Like soaps बनाता है, cosmetics बनाते हैं, तो उनके पास ये purchase department, sales department दोनों होते हैं. So it depends on the type of company. Records added. If you want, you can see the records. Select star from DPT. See. Is it printing 10 sales, 20 IT, 30 purchase? Now what we'll do is we'll create the child table. That is create table employee. Employee ID, integer, primary key, employee name, varchar 50 data or 100, whatever you want, not null. Means it will not allow you to leave it blank. Then I'm taking salary, float लेना है, int लेना है, तुम्हारा choice. And फिर आएगा department ID, integer. And then at the end, column list out किए. अभी last में मैं foreign key लिखूंगा. So foreign key, who is the foreign key? DID. And you have to mention that it is referencing which table? Department tables, department ID. इसमें कैस्केड रूल्स भी होता है. वो कैस्केडिंग रूल्स क्या है उसके ऊपर अलग सा एक लेक्चर डिवोट होगा. डोंट वरी. ओके, तो हियर यू कैन राइट ऑन डिलीट कैस्केड, ऑन अपडेट कैस्केड, उसका मीनिंग क्या है सब देखेंगे. डोंट वरी. ओके, so now employee table is also created. I'll add some records in it. Insert into employee values 110 Ram Joshi. Okay, salary 4500, department 10. Suppose 201. I'll add Fazal. Okay, 55000. Department 20. 205. Right? Aditi 5000. Department 10 only. Maybe. हो सकता है. फिर 405. 5600. डिपार्टमेंट 30 को अलॉट किया. ठीक है, 505 ये. ओके, आई पुट माय नेम 5000. डिपार्टमेंट 20 अलॉट हुआ है. चल रहा है. ठीक है. Now I'll add these records. This will get added. Now when we were adding it, it didn't give any error because all the values in the foreign key were present in the primary key. ठीक है. If you try to see the records, select star from employee, it will show you all the record. Okay, but suppose now you're trying to add one record in the employee table. Okay, 1111. Okay, I'm giving Rahul Verma, suppose. Salary 3500 and the department I'm giving 40. Will this record first basically get inserted or will it give foreign key violation error?
Violet.
Because you're giving department number 40 and there is no department only with 40 ID. And that is the check done because of this. ये foreign key references. So this checks whenever you give any department ID to employee, it confirms that it is present in the department table. So department table में है कि नहीं ये check किया जाएगा. नहीं रहेगा तो ये violate होगा. देखो, is it generating a error? नीचे error आ गया. And वो error क्या है? Cannot add or update a child row. A foreign key constraint fails. Getting? If you try to read that whole thing completely, you'll come to know. See, it is giving cannot add or update a child row. A foreign key constraint fails, meaning there is no department with department ID 40. But आप कहोगे ये कैसे कंफर्म किया? क्योंकि आपने ये लिखा है. Just try to do it like this. Create table employee, add employee ID, name, salary, just DID, and don't add this. ये लिखो ही मत. That time it will add it. ये ऐड कर लेगा. 40 भी ऐड हो जाएगा. आपको चाहिए तो देखो मैं दिखाता हूं. I'll drop this table. You can drop it from here also. Tables दिखता है. ठीक है. तो from here right click if I do, and there is an option called drop table. Everything you can do by mouse also, but I recommend do by commands. So drop table employee. टाइमिंग के लिए मैं ड्रॉप कर रहा हूं, ठीक है, टेबल चला गया, अगेन क्रिएट कर रहा हूं, बट दिस पार्ट आई एम नॉट राइट, ठीक है. So you have kept employee ID, name, salary, DID, but how your MySQL know that this DID is to be referred from department's DID? वो इतना इंटेलिजेंट नहीं है ना ह्यूमन ब्रेन जैसे कि खुद ही उसने अपना इंटेलिजेंस अप्लाई किया है एंड इट विल डू इट. नो, यू हैव टू टेल दैट प्लीज रेफर द वैल्यू ऑफ दिस कॉलम फ्रॉम दिस टेबल. तो देखो अभी मैं ये टेबल तो क्रिएट कर देता हूं, ठीक है, ये रिकॉर्ड्स भी ऐड कर देता हूं. गया. But if I try to add this record, that will also get added. Does it give any error? No. See, if you check, it has added one employee with department number 40 also. जबकि ये गलत है. There is no employee only with ID 40. So why this happened? Because ये क्यों ऐसे हुआ? क्योंकि आपने यहाँ रेफरेंसेस फॉरेन की ही नहीं दिया, करेक्ट. तो अगेन इफ आई एग्जीक्यूटेड, टेबल ड्रॉप हुआ, वापस क्रिएट करो, ठीक है. Now you add these records will get added, but when you try to add this record, okay, it is going to give you an error. Does it confirm that 40 is there in the department table? 40 ये department table में है क्या नहीं, ये confirm करता है. Why it is confirming? Because you have mentioned this foreign key references. ठीक है. So I hope this part is clear to you guys, right or no?
Yes, clear.
Okay. So foreign key helps in joining tables or ensuring referential integrity. Referential integrity means when you are referring the value in one column from the column of some another table. So it confirms that this value is present there. So that is called as referential integrity. And always you have to give the foreign key in, at least in MySQL. बाकी डेटाबेस में ना यहाँ भी लिखा ना डायरेक्टली रेफरेंसेस वो वर्क होता है, बट MySQL रिकमेंड्स इट एट द एंड. तो हाउ डू यू गिव दैट फॉरेन की, देन हु इज द फॉरेन की फ्रॉम दिस अबव कॉलम. ऊपर जितने भी कॉलम है उसमें से कौन है आपका फॉरेन की, वो लिखो, रेफरेंसेस पैरेंट टेबल नेम एंड दैट. करेक्ट. दिस कैस्केडिंग रूल सेपरेटली विल डिस्कस. The cascading rules you have to write after this. And what does that cascading rules means? That we will discuss. Okay. फिर वो पार्ट होने के बाद फिर और भी बहुत सारी चीजें हैं. अपडेट कमांड इज देयर, डिलीट कमांड है, ऑल्टर, ड्रॉप, ऑपरेटर्स पढ़ने हैं हमें, अरिथमेटिक ऑपरेटर, रिलेशनल ऑपरेटर, लॉजिकल ऑपरेटर्स, all that, so many things we have to learn. Okay, so for today we will take a pause over here.